Hello students, in this session we are going to study about diversity in plant life. In our previous classes we already covered what is diversity in organism and what is the diversity in total livelihood and all these things, and we just introduced into the topic in our previous class. I just told you that diversity means a variety, that means a number of changes are takes place, that a number of variety in numbers in organisms or plants, animals, insects, all these things, and a number of examples, and we also get into the topic in our previous class. So we just continue with the same topic, that is your biodiversity, and the next part is diversity in plant life. So today we just discuss about diversity of plant life. If we talk about plant life, plants are mostly eukaryotic in nature, multicellular in nature, and photosynthetic in nature. Then a question arises in mind that what is photosynthetic, what is multicellular, and what is eukaryotic. So plants are multicellular, eukaryotic, and photosynthetic in nature. So what is multicellular? Multicellular means it is just the opposite of unicellular. Unicellular means your single cell, multicellular means it is the combination of a number of cells. Nextly, eukaryotic in nature, that means it is just the opposite of prokaryotic cell. That means cell wall is present and all these things, and number of nutrient medium is also included in it. That the cells which are formed are otherwise known as eukaryotic cells. Nextly, photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means, photo means your light. That means if we split the term photosynthesis, photon, it is developed from a term photon. Photon means light. So synthesis of light takes place by the means of chlorophyll pigments. Why chlorophyll pigments? Because the leaves of the plants containing green colored pigment pockets, which are otherwise known as your chlorophyll pigments. And chlorophyll pigments, because of the presence of chlorophyll pigments, the photosynthesis takes place. That means the preparation of food takes place in the plant. So we all know that plants are autotrophic in nature. That means they can prepare their own food by its own means. So this is the basic feature of a plant commonly. Nextly, where the plants are live, plants are mostly present in land and water. So plants are mostly present in land and water. That means we can also found plants on the soil and also found the plants in water also. That means submerged. We just couple of stages later going to study about hydrophytes. There I clear about what is the means of your water, submerged water, and all these things. Nextly, there are above 3 lakh species. That means currently mostly 3 lakh species are exist in the presence of plant life. That means we already covered 3 lakh species, around 3 lakh species. Nextly, we just cover about diversity on the basis of habitat. It is all about your plant life. Nextly, we cover with diversity of on the basis of habitat. So if we talk about diversity on the basis of habitat, then our first question is, what is habitat? Habitat means it is just a habituated thing. Habituated. So it is just a thing of habituated. That means if we talk about a animal or a plant, or you may take example of a human being, all the things, that means you may take animal or plant and their surroundings combinedly is otherwise known as your habitat. That means the way of living, way of eating, all these things, their food behavior, their reproductive structure, all these things are combined, otherwise combiningly, the process is otherwise known as your habitat. That means in a habitat, that means there is a number of habitats are there. We just continue all these things in ecosystem. That means a systematical study of all these organisms we are going to study about a systematical basis. They are otherwise known as an ecosystem. So in ecosystem, the habitat, again the term habitat is come over there. So habitat means, you just concluded over here that in this topic, habitat means it is the style, that means the place or the thing for which the plant or a animal is habituated. That means they are attached in the surrounding is otherwise known as your habitat. So according to the habitat, we just divide the plants. That means we just divide all the plants into 7 categories. We just categorized all the plants. So we just wrote one by one over here. We just categorized the plants into hydrophytes. First one is your hydrophytes, and the second one is your hygrophytes. It is your hydrophyte, it is your hygrophyte. And we just talk about the third one. Third one is your halophyte. And the fourth one is your mesophyte. And the fifth one is our xerophyte. Okay, and the sixth one is our epiphyte. And last but not the least, the seventh one is our the seventh one is your parasite. So we just clear one by one with example. First one is our hydrophyte, second hygrophyte, third halophyte, mesophyte, xerophyte, epiphyte and parasite. I already wrote the important points over here. You just focus about the board and the points first. So what is your hydrophytes? We just split the term first. Hydro means your water. Hydrophyte. Phyta means your it is developed, the word is developed from a word is phyton. Phyton means your plant. Hydrophyte, hydro means water. That means it is the combination of water and plant. That means the plant which are developed in a submerged water body or near water body is included in your hydrophytes. I just wrote over here, hydrophytes mostly grow near water or submerged underwater. That means the plants mostly grow near water. That means their attachment of water there, or submerged, that means underwater. The plants which grow underwater or near water is included in your hydrophytes. And what is the basic feature of that plant? How the plant look like? So if we arise this type of question, we just talk about root system, shoot system first. So if we consider a plant over here and it is placed on the soil medium, then it is the root system and this is the shoot system. So if we talk about a plant, it is your soil medium and it is your root system. That means it is your root system and this is all the parts are your shoot system. So in this type there is a number of types of plants. It is just a common plant. We just take an example of an angiospermic plant and all these things. So here weak root system, shoot system and poor vascular tissue. What is your vascular tissue? Nextly, so vascular tissue. Vascular tissue means combination of your xylem and phloem tissues, and these tissues are mostly poor in condition and weak root system and shoot system. That means this is an example of a strong root system and shoot system, but in hydrophytes they are weak in condition. That means the roots are developed but weak in nature, and shoot system is also developed but weak in nature. And the examples in the last part of this video, that means you just watch till the last of the class and you just get another animation of all the examples with naming. So I just give one by one. Nextly, weak root system, shoot system and poor vascular tissue. Nextly, presence of air spaces, air cavity called parenchyma, because they all are float on the water by the presence of these air chambers. That means the cells which are, that means in the cells there is a air pocket is there. So because of this air pocket, because of this parenchyma, the total plant is float on over the soil, that over the water body. So presence of air spaces or air cavity is otherwise known as your parenchyma. This is one of the important point, you should note it. It is your presence of parenchyma. Because of this parenchyma, total plant is float over the water body. So if we take examples, plants may be submerged. That means it may be submerged. That means the total plant is submerged or freely floating, or it may be freely float over the soil. That means over the water body. That means you may take an example of a pond, you may take an example of a river, all these things, or fixed floating. We just take different examples first. Submerged means total thing is submerged underwater, and the best example is your hydrilla. I just gave image with image of hydrilla in last of the class. Nextly, freely floating means you can take the example of Eichhornia, Pistia, all these things. Eichhornia, Pistia. That means these are the plants which just float over the soil. Nextly, over the water body. Sorry, I just repeatedly talk soil and soil. So nextly, fixed floating. Fixed floating means one part is fixed in the soil and the other part is float. That means you just take an example of a pond. If we talk about a pond and lily and lotus, that means the one part of the plant, that means you just take an example of a lily flower, then lily's one part is, that means the root system is attached into the soil medium of the pond, and the total shoot system and the flower is float over the soil. That means it is fixed in a point. So it is otherwise known as a fixed floating. That means one part is fixed and another part is float. So it is otherwise your fixed floating, and the most common example is your lily, lotus. So this is the examples of a plant. That means it may be submerged, it may be fixed floating, or it may be freely floating. Nextly, hydrophytes. I told you that hydrophytes means, hydro means your water and phytes means your plants. That means the plants which present underwater or submerged water body, then it is your hydrophytes. Hygro means it is, that means the plants which grow under shady condition and moisture condition. That means there is no presence of a lot of water. You just take, that means it is a muddy area, or you just take a moist area where the absence of light is there. That means the plants are present in a shady condition. That means most of the plants are developed in the absence of your sunlight. That means presence of sunlight is there, but in limited period. So they are come under your hygrophytes, and the plants which come under hygrophytes are soft in nature, spongy stems, so stunted growth. That means there is no growth is there because the absence of photosynthetic system, that means the presence of absence of your photosynthetic system. Because of the shady nature, the plants are stunted growth. That means the growth is not that means the growth is not usually, that means in the common plants the growth is not usually, they are shady in nature. And soft and spongy stems are mostly spongy and soft in nature. And we just take the examples of a fern, which is fern is also an example, and certain grasses. I just wrote over here fern and certain grasses. These are the, that means grasses means bush type things and short in nature, and these are the basic example of your hygrophytes. Nextly, mesophytes. I just skipped one thing over here. Another one is halophytes. I just wrote over here halophyte. Halophytes means the plants which grow under salty water, saline water. That means salty nature is there. That means the water is containing salt. So the plants grow in salty water condition is otherwise known as your halophytes. And halophytes, there is a most important characteristic feature which is your aerial breathing. Aerial breathing means the plants which just change there. That means the breathing process. That means exchange of gases takes place underwater. That means the receiving of your oxygens and the releasing of your carbon dioxide, all these things are take over in the submerged water body. That means in water is otherwise known as your aerial breathing. Aerial breathing it takes place, and that means root system is continuously breathe over here in salty condition, and the process is otherwise known as your nematophore. It is nematophore, and in nematophore aerial breathing is takes place. It is the most interesting thing that root just breathe by the exchange of gases by means of in a salty water condition. And this type of plants and this type of forest are mostly takes place in your northern east condition of in your globe. In northern east condition, that's in lake sites, these types of plants are mostly found. You just take an example of this side. Nextly, halophyte, and next one is your mesophyte. It is just the common plant mesophyte. Mesophyte means the plants which grow in your moderate condition. Moderate condition means there is the presence of limited types of water. That means there is no presence of a lot of water or the xerophytic condition. That means the soil is not dry. That means this is the presence of a balanced type of nutrient medium, a balanced type of water body is there. So the plants which grow in that condition, that means a balanced condition soil, then it is known as your mesophytes. And usually large and fast growing. That means these plants are mostly large in shape, and root system, shoot system are well developed, and they are also the fruiting buds, the flowering buds. These are all are well developed, and the branches are there, and that means all the plant structure is strong in nature, and that means the xylem and phloem tissue, vascular tissues are fully developed in this condition of mesophyte, and they are fastly growing. So the basic example of these are your mango tree or all the big trees. You just take any example of big trees which contains your root system and shoot system, and all the systems are well developed. You just take this type of example in your mesophyte. Nextly, xerophyte. If we talk about xerophyte, extremely dry condition, the plants which grow in extremely dry condition is otherwise known as xerophyte. So if we talk about xerophyte, stem store some of their stems. That means if we talk about this type of plants, they store water in some type of means. That means they store water in stem, they store water in leaves, and some of are store water in roots also. And the basic example of this type of things of xerophytes which store water in their stem, and the most common example is opuntia. Opuntia is one of the best example of xerophyte which store water in the stem, and in leaves you just wrote another common example which is your bryophyllum, and another one is your aloe vera. These are the most common example where the leaves store water. Next is the roots. In roots you just take another medicinal plant which is your asparagus. And asparagus is a medicinal plant which is mainly used for the medicinal purpose of girls in their conditions. Nextly, plants are called succulent. That means the plants which are present over your xerophytic condition is otherwise known as a succulent plant, because they store their water in some type of means. That means some of the plants store water in their stem, some of the plants store water in their roots, some of the plants store their water in their leaves also. We just take another example. Nextly, epiphytes. Epiphytes means the plants grow any part of a plant. That means the plants grow on a trunk of a plant, on a branch of a plant. Then they are come under your epiphytes, and the aerial roots containing tissues, and the tissues which are containing aerial tissues are otherwise known as your velamen tissues, and in velamen tissues are mostly spongy in nature. Because of this spongy nature, it is just absorb moist and the water medium from the atmosphere, and from this atmospheric water medium they just continue their cyclic process. That means you just consider a sponge over a period in a outside. If we talk about in this cold region, if we place a cloth, we just place anything, we just place a sponge over a night in outside, we just found a number of water droplet on the outside. In the same means, plant is also containing velamen tissue. Velamen tissue is spongy in nature. Because of this spongy nature, it does absorb water and moisture from the atmosphere, and that water and moisture is used in this cyclic process, and they just grow on the branch, trunk of any other plants. And most of the common example is orchid, and lichen is also example, but orchid is the most common example. Nextly, epiphyte, and the last one is your parasite. Para means your other. Parasite, we just take a very interesting example is your Cuscuta reflexa. That means your nirmuli. If we talk about parasite, para means your other, site means other's home. If we just try to live with others home, that other person, and we just dependent on other person with their all food behavior. That means the plants which come under this parasite having no idea of the food, and there is no tissues which develop food, all these things, and for the food they just depend over. That means their sucking root, that means they develop a sucking root, as I wrote over here, parasite. they develop sucking root, and the roots which come into, that means they just grow the sucking root, and they are otherwise known as a hausteria, and from the hausteria he just receive the plant nutrient from other plant. That means the plants are just developed on other plant. That means they are the parasites, they depend on, that means for the food they depend on the other plant, and by succulent root, that means by sucking root and the hausteria, they just receive all the food nutrient and grow. And most common example is your Cuscuta reflexa, which is otherwise known as your Nirmuli. So it is your parasitic plant. That means for the food behavior, the plants are just depend on other plants. So this is some of the basic habitats. That means according to diversity, these are some of the basic habitats. We just study about hydrophytes, that means your water body; hygrophytes, that means your moist water condition; halophytes means your salty water condition; mesophytes means the most common, that means balanced nutrient medium, balanced water condition, balanced atmospheric condition, and mostly finely growing plants are there, that means your mango, orange, all these things. Nextly, xerophytic condition, that means extremely dry condition, where the plants are, for the nutrient medium, they just depend on, that means they just store their water in stem, in leaf, in roots also. That means we just take example of opuntia, we just take example of your asparagus, we just take your example of your bryophyllum, aloe vera, all these things. And nextly your epiphytes. Epiphytes means they just grow trunk and branches and having a Wallmann tissue. It is just most the important is Wallmann tissue, which helps, which have the spongy tissue, and from the spongy nature of this tissue, it is just absorb water mediums, and by the help means of this water medium, they just receive all the atmospheric conditions and grow. So this is the basic means of your diversity on the basis of habitat. And we just nextly we just come with any other type of habitats. So hope this session is helpful to all of you. Thank you.